Hi, welcome to Craig's Hangar. I'm Craig Cavello, and behind me is my 1965 Cherokee 140, which I'm very proud of the paint job on. I'm here at Gainesville Airport where I keep this hangar, and I had some thoughts today about sharing the joy of aviation, your passion for aviation, and wanted to share with you just a couple of points. There's about 3 or 4 things that you can do that maybe you're already doing, but maybe some things to think about. One of them is to take a friend or a family member flying once in a while. You don't always have to fly solo going around in the pattern, and if you find that you're into that rut, you might be able to expand your horizons a little bit by sharing aviation with friends. Like, for example, yesterday, a friend of mine from Germany, Michael, over here on another hangar, he built a new Carbon Cub, and he was thrilled to have me go up and share a ride with him, and I hadn't been in one before. It was amazing, and I've been flying for 28, 29 years, and I hadn't been in one, and it was a totally new experience. So if you get to know the people in aviation around your airplane, there's just all kinds of miracles that can happen, and yesterday was one of them for me. My son's fiancée, I took her on a night flight over North Texas area, and in particular Denton, a few months ago, and it was absolutely magic for her because she had never been in a general aviation airplane before, let alone see all the lights for as far as the horizon could see, and she's still talking about it to this day. I have a friend, actually he's a friend of my son's, who's considering becoming a pilot. And I took him up on a flight in the daytime over to, trying to remember where we went. I think we went to Dallas Executive. In any event, wherever we went, he had a blast. And we showed him a little bit about Class Bravo airspace and what was going on. And even though he didn't understand everything that I was talking to the controllers about, he just really liked that experience. I have an older non-pilot friend who's in his 80s. I took him up 2 weeks ago. Again, I think we went to Dallas Executive. He was absolutely thrilled with it. And he doesn't have any intention of becoming a pilot, although he could, even in his 80s. But he just decided, sorry about the airplane noise, he just decided he wanted to try something new, and he was out from California and visiting, and good experience for him. I have another family member, actually a brother-in-law, who lives in Spain, moved to the Canary Islands, deathly afraid of small airplanes or flying in general. Years ago, we were in Stockton, California at a Thanksgiving event for a family, and he was talking about it, and I said, let's go up to Sacramento and we'll go up on a night flight, just you and me. So I took him up. He absolutely loved it, and it cured him of his fear of flying, and he was posting all of these pictures and everything on Facebook, and he was just so happy to have been exposed to that.
Has anybody ever not loved it?
No. Nobody has ever not loved it. And one of the reasons why is I'm not trying to impress anybody. I don't do steep banks. I don't try to show them any thrills. I just take them up. Gentle turns, very professional, easy takeoff, easy landing, and they're relieved. But it also enables them, it allows them to enjoy the experience, and they don't have to feel fearful that anything's going to happen. It's a good question. And of course, finally, you want to share this with your kids, because when I was introduced to general aviation by my dad when I was about 4 or 5 years old in Bakersfield at night in a 182, and it left just this indelible impression in my head, which is why I eventually became a pilot. But when little kids get around airplanes, usually they really like it. And if you can cultivate that affection for aviation, sometimes it will manifest itself later in life. You don't know the type of impact you could be making on your kids or young people. Another thing you could do is share aviation photos, either on social media or personally with family and friends. And particularly these days, there is no reason not to have a camera, because they're called cell phones today. So just put the camera out. You can take video, you can take stills, and not only so you can remember it, but you can show it to family and friends, and that's also fun to do. You can take some time to visit some small local airports, even if you're a non-pilot. Recently, I was in Europe, and I went and headed out by myself, not knowing who I would find, to 5 general aviation airports in Switzerland and Italy. And I did that over the course of about 2 or 3 days. And it was one of the most amazing experiences you can possibly imagine. And I met a lot of people. And believe it or not, I even met the president of the Airline Owners and Pilots Association, or AOPA, the Italian version of it. He took me out to lunch with his friends. And it was just fantastic. And as a matter of fact, I even wrote a children's book about it, which we'll talk about in a second. If you're currently a pilot or an aircraft owner, consider joining an aviation group. And there's a lot of them on social media. A lot of people can benefit from your experience on this stuff. It's kind of like what I try to do here with Craig's Hangar. And finally, you might consider creating something about flying. Now, if you're a musician, maybe you could write some music about it. If you're a videographer, like my son is here behind the camera, do videos. If you are a writer, write books. Last year, as a matter of fact, I decided to write, I've got 2 grandkids, okay, 2 boys, ages 3 and 7. And I decided to write 1 children's book about general aviation a month for all of 2022. And I stuck to that schedule, and I did it. And then when I thought I was going to be all done with it, I got the bug again to write another book about the experience that I had with the pilots I met in Europe. And it came out great. And they love it. So then I decided to start creating videos that are narratives of the books. And that's been a blast too. I've enjoyed every second of it. And it also kind of leaves a legacy for your family and for your kids. If you document something or video something, or even write music about something, it's something that will outlast you. And you can't put a price on that. So again, if you find yourself flying in a solo pattern every weekend and you're in a rut, I encourage you, please, expand your horizons. Take other people flying, talk to other people about flying, and I think you'll probably exponentially increase your enjoyment of aviation. So that's it from Craig's Hangar today, and happy flying.